Welcome back, everybody. Back to talkersthegeeks.com. Justin here. Today, I'm back with more manga reviews. And of course, I have to review my favorite manga author, artist, Junji Ito. He is back with another release, and this one is called The Liminal Zone. And this is published by Viz Media. And as always, I give you a brief synopsis and big shout out to Viz for the review through NetGalley. So here's our review, but here's the brief synopsis. What destiny awaits them after the screaming? After abruptly departing from a train in a small town, a couple encounters a weeping woman, a professional mourner sobbing at a funeral. Mako changes afterward. She can't stop crying. In another tale, having to decide to die together, a couple enters the infamous suicide forest. What is the shocking otherworldly torrent that they discover there? One of horror's greatest talents, Junji Ito beckons readers to join him in the experience of ultimate terror with four terrifying tales. And I will give you the titles of each tales, and I'll tell you a little bit about my thoughts on the overall book and some of the tales, which ones were my favorites. So tale number one is Weeping Woman Way. Tale number two is Madonna, which might be my favorite. The Spirit of Flow of Aokigahara, which is the Suicide Forest story, which is tale number three, and number four is Slumber. And if you are a fan of Junji, if you know his style, you know his art style, you know the way he tells his stories. This one actually, he has a collection of stories. Some are hits, a lot of them are hits, and he has a very few misses sometimes where you just go, that wasn't it wasn't that great. This one I enjoyed through and through. Some stories were obviously more I enjoyed more than others. I would say the last two kind of felt a little more weaker compared to that sense of dread and terror that was within A Weeping Way and Madonna. I think Madonna was my favorite. I'll talk a little about Madonna in a minute. But A Weeping Way, which was the first story, which is about this couple that happens to get off the train and they come across this town, and the town, and they approach this funeral, and it's just this weeping woman who in ancient tales is someone who cries for the dead, and they feel more, they're more sensitive and more prone to the spiritual world, so they're able to feel the pain of the dead, so that's why they're crying. And what happens, I'm not going to give any spoilers, but what happens to Mako is that once she visits this funeral, she herself can't stop crying. And I enjoyed this story. There is one scene that I felt was very, very tense, and it reminded me of Midsummer. And for those who saw that movie, it's the scene where all the women are crying. It's very similar to that. Now, think of that scene where all the women are crying, but put Junji's take on a certain scene like that, and he makes it creepy with his art style, the way the facial expressions are, the sense of dread. It was a very creepy story. I really did enjoy A Weeping Way. My favorite one, actually, which I'm surprised about, was Madonna. And Madonna is about this girl who is in this kind of church community, or church, a Catholic school, and there's no way out. There's like, it's a Catholic school that's really like high in walls, so you really have to get permission to leave. They grow up there, and through their school years, and the priest or the principal, he basically is. See, I'm trying to tell this without spoiling it, so I'm gonna do it in a way that doesn't give it away. There's something going on in this school that's very creepy. It has this kind of cult like feel to it. Like there's something really off about the students, the faculty, and except for this one girl, Maria, who is in the midst of everything. And there's a reason why they call the women, or some of the most beautiful women, Madonna, and it has to do with something with the Virgin Mary, and that's all I'm going to say about that, because I don't want to give too much away. But I really did enjoy Madonna. It was, to me, I think that was probably the most scariest one, and it wasn't as scary as like, oh my gosh, with kills, gore. There was this kind of sense of disturbingness to it, especially with the principal, because you kind of didn't know whether this guy was you know what? It starts with a P. you didn't know, but there, it just seems like he was really, really into Maria, and there's reasons why, but it was kind of creepy. Like there was like this sense of dread, especially with some of the students and how they were reacting. I really did enjoy that. I felt tense reading that one because it was just like, all right, Junji, where you going with this? Where you going with this character? Where you're going with this type of scenario? And I really did like the fact that he did go there. He didn't go like there with where I'm alluding to, but he did go there in a way of revealing the true nature of this guy, and I really did enjoy it. It was great from the start to end. The visuals, of course, is always top notch with Junji. So I thought Madonna was a really great one. The next one, which I thought I expected a little bit more from this one, the spirit flow of Aokigahara. I'm sorry, my Japanese is completely botched, but the Suicide Forest. I expected a little bit more from this. I wasn't. The story's not bad. I would say the characters for me didn't grip me right from the beginning, and I just it wasn't really for me. I did finish it, but it was kind of felt like a chore for me. It felt a little bit boring for me. Characters for me didn't really resonate, didn't connect. I mean, I think the only thing I really did like about it is we get to see a little bit more of the reasons why they're going to the forest and things like that. But what they did with the otherworldly aspects of the forest, it was just like, it kind of didn't work for me. Slumber. Now, how he ends it with Slumber. Slumber was really good. I thought Slumber had a lot more going for it compared to the Suicide Forest ones. And this guy here this one I like because this one was more of a psychological aspect with it, of this guy who murders are popping up, and I will just say that murders are popping up, and it has to do with somebody in his sleep, and it's nothing Freddy Krueger. I'm sorry if I'm being very vague, but I'm trying not to spoil it because if I go deeper, I'm gonna spoil it. But the art style of this one I really loved about this one is because this one I will say is probably the best character driven out of the three stories here, because we really get to see this guy deteriorating from the lack of sleep. In the way Junji draws it, you can see it in his face that this guy needs some sleep. This guy is going through some severe shit, and I thought it was a really good story. So overall, Junji Ito's The Liminal Zone, what do we give it? We're going to give this a must buy. He does it again. I really love his stories, and I think he's one of the best. I really did enjoy this one. Madonna's creepy. The Weeping Woman is creepy. Slumber was great psychologically. Great art style, especially with the facial expressions. He always nails that sense of dread, that look of torture. I would say the weakest one was the Suicide Forest one. Didn't work for me, but overall, if I gotta give this a letter grade, I'm gonna give it a B plus. This was a great one, another great entry. If you have the collections like I do, add it to your collection. And I think he has another one coming out in October, so we already have a review copy for that. So I'll be reviewing that in a couple of months. So this is Justin from tacosthegeeks.com saying later days. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell if you're watching this on YouTube. And if you're watching this on tacosthegeeks.com, by all means, friends, browse the website. Check out Nadia's new editorial on Ms. Marvel. Check out our podcast shows. Don't forget the UWL, our original WWE 2K Universe Mode. What we're doing with Universe Mode with our own creative characters is coming August 6th to our YouTube channel and to our Twitch channel. So stay on the lookout for that. And of course, my comic book, My Name is Rachel, is coming out August 5th. You can pre-order that on Amazon Kindle, and the print version will be on blurb.com. Link is in the description. So this is Justin saying later days, and don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Peace.